Hey, how's it going, guys? Hope you guys are having a great Monday. Good to see Brian, Eric, Nikolai, XPL, Oi, Mahedi, Sala, Fox Nine Tails, Cena, Mirza, Mystic, Eve, Aculite, Not News, Jonathan, Business Watch, Alme Costells, Gentle, John. Good to see you guys. Gonna be a great stream, guys. A lot's happening this week. I'm sure you guys have seen my updates on X, on Telegram, everything. So much going on. Also, happy Bitcoin High Day. 123,200. Insane. And don't mind me, guys. I'm just eating a protein snack bar in the background. What's going on? Akshay, good to see you. German Fergone, AI Crash Core. A lot of good people here. A lot of good people here. Idris, Business Wada, Luca. Awesome, guys. All right, well, let's not wait anymore. Let's go ahead and get this stream going real quick. If you guys can like the live stream, that helps spread this to the masses. Spread Gem Hunters to the masses as the #1 source for crypto news and data. So, first, looking at the 24 hours of liquidations, it has been a crazy past few days. Like, this weekend was wild, seeing Bitcoin break all-time high after all-time high. I know that a lot of you guys felt the same way. There was mass euphoria. Everyone was just high-fiving each other, posting memes, posting GIFs on the timeline. It was great to see. And there's a lot of bullish news this week. This week is dubbed Crypto Week, and so I'll go over all that as well, where I think the market's going to go, where I think Bitcoin is going to go. And real quick, where do you guys think Bitcoin is going to go? Tell me your Bitcoin targets right now. Bitcoin by the end of the year. Let me know what you guys think, because I have a target in mind, and it's going to surprise a lot of people. So tell me what you guys think about your Bitcoin target for the end of the year. Curious what everyone is thinking, where their mind is at. But going over the past 24 hours of liquidations, 780 million of liquidations, right? We have longs, 200 million, shorts, 570 million. So obviously shorts got blown out. Something I want to emphasize here is anytime you have liquidations that are actually nearing that $1 billion mark, if it's $1 billion or over, that usually marks a local top or local bottom. What I mean by that is, say we had over $1 billion liquidations and shorts were, say, 800 million of that, right? Well, that shows you that shorts were getting blown out, but at the same token, it shows you that we are coming up to a local top. Same with if we got over $1 billion liquidations and longs were a majority of those liquidated, like 800 million. That would tell you we're near a local bottom. So keep this liquidation in mind. Like on CoinGlass, keep this liquidation data in mind, because whenever these liquidations do pass over $1 billion, usually that's local top or bottom. And I believe this was over $1 billion. I'm not positive this was over $1 billion yesterday or not. I assume it was on the short side, but that would mean a local top. And then now we'll probably chop a little bit for a few days before continuing higher. So we'll see with that. Now, talking with real quick, let me see where everyone's targets are for Bitcoin and what you guys are thinking here, because I do have a target in my mind. Now, and I'll answer some questions beforehand too in a minute. Eric, 200K, 180K, 250, 230, 130, 200, 280, 215, 200, 150 to 175, 180, 180 to 200, 250, 200, 250, 200, 185, 150, 155, 444K in 2026, 250, 150, 250, 250. Okay, interesting, guys. So more people are thinking 250 than I realized. So I do think that will most likely reach 250. 250 by this year, I think, is a very, very real possibility. And I say that because, one, the U.S. has a plan to accumulate a lot of Bitcoin, right? They've already talked about their SBR, Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, and their plan to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. And so that's going to come into play, as well as interest rate cuts, as well as a big, beautiful bill, as well as the money printer being turned on, more stimulus, all these pro-crypto laws are being passed, other countries accumulating, Michael Saylor with MicroStrategy and MetaPlanet T-Wopping into Bitcoin, ETF flows at their all-time highs. You have, what else do we have? There's a couple other very, very bullish catalysts, but all that to say, there's going to be a supply shock, and I think people are finally starting to realize that. And so, yes, 250 seems like a crazy target right now, and even it's crazy to me, because I was thinking maybe 150 to 200. There's no way I was thinking 250, but I think seeing a lot of people I respect, their targets are 240 to 250. I think 250 is definitely on the timeline. So that's something that I am watching very, very closely. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and go into some other news items real quick. All right, so liquidity heat map. Remember, guys, I always post this for my market updates, and I'm always looking at, okay, where is the majority of liquidity at, and where do I think Bitcoin's going to go from here? Now, what I will say is, notice how there's no liquidity to the upside. Everyone is scared to short because they've been getting blown out. That's why you're not seeing shorts with their liquidation levels to the upside. So what I'm expecting here is at least a pullback to 118.6K. So that's the first level to DCA up. Next, we go to the 1 week. The 1 week shows liquidity levels near 116.8 and 115.2. This coincides with CME gap as well on Bitcoin that I'll go over in a minute. But what I would say with this is, if Bitcoin goes down to these levels, don't be scared. This is still maintaining its structure. The trend line resistance that we broke on Bitcoin and closed above, which I'll talk about, that support is also near 115.2K. So guys, this would be very, very healthy if Bitcoin came back here, especially after this parabolic run. Very, very healthy. So do not get scared if we have a pullback, which I think we will. I don't know if it's going to be this deep, to 115.2, but I do think a pullback is coming. So keep an eye on that. Now, there's a lot of news to go over. I don't want to belabor it too much, but I'll go over some of the important topics for you guys. So we have a lot of senators who are bullish on Bitcoin. No surprise there. Tim Scott saying blockchain tech creates a permanent traceable ledger that can help law enforcement catch bad actors. So again, you have a positive, right? Because people, they frame crypto, or frame Bitcoin even, as like this asset that's used for terrorism activities. At the end of the day, you can trace 99% of cryptocurrencies on the blockchain better than you can trace the dollar. Right? The dollar is completely anonymous, whereas the blockchain is going to be on the ledger, and you can still transact accordingly. Now, granted, there are some privacy ways to stay under the radar, etc., which I'm not going to go into on this stream, but at the very least, this is still very bullish because you can see that it's being used a lot better to catch criminals versus the alternative, like with fiat. So that's an argument that people can use. Also, you had Tim Scott saying that blockchain tech and digital assets are not going away. They're here to stay. So you have a lot of senators, a lot of Congress people who are very bullish on Bitcoin, and that just shows you the writing on the wall, and there's adoption that's going to happen. Now, also on top of that, you have the President Nayib Bukele, El Salvador's Bitcoin reserve, showing 400 million in unrealized profits. That's actually a lot more right now, but he's actually creating a very, very, good example of what you should do as a country in accumulating more Bitcoin. Now, on top of that, you also had Robinhood officially launching their ETH and Solana staking in the US. This is just going to create more and more adoption, guys. Like, the adoption is just getting started, and now we're officially starting to see the big money start to come in, which is going to be the exit liquidity. It's going to be what we need to send Bitcoin a lot higher, especially to 240, 250,000. On top of that, we also have Crypto Week, right? So Crypto Week, everyone should be looking forward to this. And I've been talking about this for a while. It's very, very bullish. Now, some people may not know, what's the Clarity Act? What's the Anti-CBD Surveillance State Act? What's the Genius Act? Why is Crypto Week so bullish? What does this all mean? Let's go over it real quick. So, anyone who's not following me on X, at the CryptoData, I post a lot of good info on crypto. I was posting whenever Bitcoin made this trendline break, and closed above it. It was at 118,000. I said, raise your targets and then raise them again. Subsequently, Bitcoin went to 123,000 within a few hours after this. So, talking about crypto week and what these laws are talking about, what these bills are talking about. The Genius Act is very bullish for Ethereum. Very bullish because it sets a federal framework for stablecoins, passed the Senate, and now it's waiting the House vote. The reason this is bullish for Ethereum is because whenever you have stablecoins now that will be transacted across various entities and various avenues, right? What are the two most popular stablecoins? USDT and USDC. Now, where are those transacted on? On the Ethereum network. What happens when ETH is used for gas in a large quantity? It becomes deflationary via the EIP 1559 mechanism. I know it's not supply controlled, but at the same time, when you have a lot of use, then it does become deflationary because it's burned, right? So when you have less supply, more demand, you get price shock that we've seen recently. And so everyone is expecting this act to get passed. And this is going to be extremely bullish. It'll help set the tone, set the stage for Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin in the near future. Also, the Clarity Act. This is bullish for the fact that it's going to provide more clarity for regulations because people, specifically exchanges, they just want clarity in crypto, right? They just want to know, okay, what rules are we supposed to follow? What rules can we skirt? You know, where is the line drawn? Because the previous administration with Gary Gensler, he literally was suing every exchange. He wasn't providing any clarity. When they asked him, he was giving, you know, kind of wishy-washy answers. Like there wasn't any clarity, for lack of a better word, on those rules and regulations. And now we're finally going to get it. And so that's going to help exchanges operate more confidently and more effectively. And then also you have the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act. This seeks to block a US-based central bank digital currency. Guys, this is very, very bullish because CBDCs, they would take attention away from USDC and USDT, right? So when you have the government blocking a CBDC, well now banks, they can't have their own CBDC. What that means is, because at the end of the day, CBDCs are more centralized than decentralized because a bank in essence could control where you spend your money, what time you spend your money, what you spend your money on. I mean, there's so many different control metrics that could be implemented if banks have a CBDC. And I know that's dystopian, that's conspiracy theorist, right? But that's still an option. So I'm glad that the US is going to work to block CBDCs, and July 17th and 18th is when these votes will be expected. So keep this in mind, guys. In my opinion, when these bills get passed, very bullish, very bullish. So keep an eye on these. It's going to be very, very good. Now, with that said, we also have a couple other bullish catalysts, right? So Bitcoin dominance is continuing to decline. USDT dominance breaking key support, which tells you that people are getting out of stables into Bitcoin and altcoins. Fear and greed index is in greed, which is very good. That's what you want to see for a sustained run. And then large ETF flows continuing on ETH. Now, on top of this is something that many people have, basically ignored or are oblivious to, is senators who want lower capital gains tax. So Senator Cynthia Lummis, she was a big proponent of the SBR, and she actually introduced a bill a few days ago that would omit capital gains tax on cryptocurrency transactions of $300 or less. And what that means is you could use crypto to pay for groceries, for to go to the movies, restaurants, what have you. If it's under a $300 transaction, you're not getting taxed on it. That would be extremely bullish, guys. That would be something where that would create a gateway for a further exemption of capital gains tax. Meaning now if that gets passed, okay, what about no taxes on US-based cryptocurrencies that the Trump family was, you could say, teasing in the beginning of the year, right? Remember we heard about that? No taxes on US-based cryptocurrencies. That's why XRP, HBAR, Algorand, and a few others were pumping, even last year. And so with that said, could that even mean no taxes, no capital gains tax on crypto, period, similar to Dubai or Thailand or Puerto Rico? Guys, if the US omits capital gains tax on crypto completely, billions and billions of dollars will flow into crypto. Everyone in TradFi will come to crypto because it's the new frontier. It's the new financial ecosystem. It is basically going to be the new global financial payment system of the world if we end up getting no capital gains tax on crypto. So mark my words, that would be the most bullish catalyst I think of anything. Like even more, I don't want to say even more so than the US accumulating Bitcoin for their SBR, but it's as bullish, if not more bullish, when you do no capital gains tax in the US. Like literally that bullish. So that is something to watch as well. But yeah, that's going in for the crypto week and those 3 acts and why I'm so bullish on them. On top of that, you have Elon Musk. His Tesla company now has 756 million unrealized profit on their Bitcoin holdings. And remember, whenever Elon talked about starting the America Party, someone asked him about what he thinks of fiat and what he thinks of Bitcoin. And he says, fiat is hopeless. And he says, yeah, bullish. Basically, that he's bullish on Bitcoin and fiat is hopeless. And so Elon is a big proponent of Bitcoin, of crypto. It's no surprise he promoted Doge, right, in 2021. And so that's nothing crazy. But the fact that he's willing to say fiat is hopeless and really back Bitcoin shows that, you know, that's where his money's going, and he's going to have a lot of his rich friends buy it as well. So that's going to be great to see on that front. Also, you have a few other positive news announcements for crypto. So one of those is, one, El Salvador's president is still extremely bullish on it. Michael Saylor says short Bitcoin if you hate money. And then you also have CZ saying you might be excited by the current Bitcoin all-time high. In a few years, this will just be a fraction. So CZ really thinks that we're going to the millions on Bitcoin. He really, really thinks that we're going much higher. And this guy knows more than anyone what the plans are, right? We have China being more lenient towards crypto now. I think they recently passed a stablecoin bill, but he knows what's going on in the space more than anyone. And so if he says this is just a fraction, I believe him, right? I believe that we're going to see a lot higher price. That's where that 250K does not seem so out of reach. And then also you have the Senate Banking Committee calls to create clear regulatory framework to ensure that America becomes the crypto capital of the world. So again, they're already talking about this. It's crypto week. They want more regulatory clarity. And so the US will be the crypto hub. Right now, Dubai is the crypto hub. I believe the US will strongly overtake that or be neck and neck with Dubai in terms of crypto adoption. So that's something to watch as well. So, and then you had Trump saying, I go on TV and the market goes wild. I can move it just by talking. Again, he's getting a little overconfident here, I will say, but nonetheless, the fact that his ego is tied with the market is very good for us because whenever the market goes up, Trump is reflected positively in the news, and that's where you have everything else just going much, much higher, right? And so that is very, very bullish. Jessica says, is this recorded? Yes, Jessica, this is recorded. Now, let's real quick look at some comments and see what you guys have here. Let me take one more bite of my protein bar. For anyone curious, it's the Prima Ancestral Protein Bar. Prima. Cooked with beef tallow and organic ingredients. Very good. The mocha flavor. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Jonathan, good to have you here. Not in use, best stream in town. Hey, appreciate it, Aculite. Appreciate it, guys. Love seeing you guys here. Again, love all you guys. You guys provide so much support. I hope you guys are having a great Monday. And yes, please subscribe, guys, if you haven't. Jim Hunters aims to be the best cryptocurrency channel around. What's going on, John? Good to see you. A lot of good people in here. A lot of good UFC. Good to see you. All Crash Core. Good to see you. Let's see. Almaco Styles. Ah, okay. Let's see. Idris says, is it worth getting XRP now? Maybe. I'll need to look at the chart a little bit later on. Business Wada says, bro, we need to be in a team to win. Let's get it together and crushing the futures together. If you're a trading, contact me. Interesting. Luca. Brian says, happy all-time high. Yes. Eric, thoughts on CME Gap at 114, 115K? Could it fill this week? It's a possibility. I don't think it'll be filled this week. I think it'll be filled either in August or September. Because, fun fact about CME Gaps, if they don't get filled within a week and a half, then it takes them a few months to get filled. Huddy says, hope you're doing good, everyone. Hope you're doing good, too. John, I have a quick question. My BTC long on BloFin closed at 111.9K last night. BTC never went down to that level. I asked GPT and it tells me to write a report, which I did. Do you have any comments on this? I would look what leverage you were at. Where was your liquidation price? What was the reason it was closed, right? Because maybe someone logged in your account and closed it. Maybe closed it by accident. Yeah, I'll just need more details. But at the end of the day, just email BloFin customer support and see what happened, and they should be able to tell you. Dreamer says, I'm never doubting your words again. Eric, 200K plus. Yep. So yeah, basically from here, everyone was more or less around 175K to 250K. I think that's the consensus there. Few 150Ks, but I think those are on the low end now, which is very interesting to say 150K is the low end for Bitcoin's target. So funny. The Hunt, what do you think about Sailor's comment? Winter is never coming back. So here's the thing, Hunt, and I'm glad you asked this. So everyone is asking me, what is my target for how long this bull run is going to last? They say, do you think we're ever going to have a bear market again? Guys, I'm going to tell you this. I think this bull market's going to last until May 2026. And I know that's surprising for a lot of people because originally I was saying it's a 4-year cycle. October is going to be the top, and that's it. In saying that, guys, like I cannot caveat this enough. Take profits along the way. If you're up big, take profits. There's no reason why you shouldn't be taking them along the way, especially because Bitcoin's going up higher, and now finally altcoins are going to start to see their movement, right? At the same token, though, there's a lot of bullish catalysts, and at the end of the day, once we actually see those come to fruition, then we could still go a lot higher for a lot longer. And so I think that the United States accumulation plan for an SBR is going to be a big catalyst. A lot of countries are going to adopt Bitcoin, and we're going to see Bitcoin become the global currency of the financial system. Like, it is literally going to take over fiat, and that could happen in the next year. I mean, it is not out of the question to say Bitcoin could become the global financial currency within the next year or 2 years. I don't think that's too far-fetched, considering where everything's at, considering the regulations that are happening, considering how many countries are adopting it, considering how much inflation's going up, considering how much the US dollar is being devalued. Like, there's so many catalysts for the reason why Bitcoin can become the global financial currency of the world that it's only a matter of time at this point. It's not a matter of if, it's when. So at the end of the day, I think this is going to be an extended cycle. If you want to call it super cycle, if you want to make fun of that terminology, you could. But I will be taking profits October, November, December. But at the same token, I will still be expecting a run to May 2026. I've seen some reputable people as well think similar. And so that is my thought process on Sailor's comment that winter is never coming. I think he has a point, but at the end of the day, we'll have to see what happens. John says, since we've broken above the 150K trend line, above 115K is a possibility. Some say 150 to 500. It could also mean 130 is a top. My opinion, though, maybe 150. Okay, John saying 150. And then a few others have said 250, 150 conservative, 200, 140. Okay, good. So I think we can take conservatively 175. I think that's a conservative, just taking a look at everyone's targets there, meeting in the middle. Eswar, hi, CryptoData. Hope you're doing well. Do you think we're going to have a pullback this week, like every coin is exhausted and we can see red candles on the 4-hour time frame? Eswar, good to see you. I know it's pretty late down there, so appreciate you watching. Yeah, I think we'll see a pullback for sure, 100%. Like, I think 116K isn't out of the question. I know Pengu has already pulled back. Pengu was outperforming because everyone's changing their profile pictures to a pudgy penguin. But yeah, ETH's at resistance right now at 30.50, and so I think a pullback to 28.50 would be very, very healthy. I think it'd be a good buy level. For ETH, Akshay says, what about ETH by the end of this year? Conservatively 5K, aggressively 10K. General Handyman says, is XMR bullish now? Could be. I mean, for privacy, right? I think its resistance, last time I looked, is at 360. So that's where I would take some profits. 360 and then 420 for XMR. Ken says, Germany threw away generational wealth by selling at 56K. Yeah, so Ken, Germany actually threw away over $3 billion by selling their Bitcoin. And that was, let me see if I can find it right here. German government decision to sell 50,000 Bitcoin at 54K, costing 3.1 billion. So this shows you that this is the advantage of holding your Bitcoin. Like, yes, you can sell other things, right? But holding Bitcoin is going to be so profitable in the future. Even having 0.1 of a Bitcoin is going to be out of reach for most people in the next 5 years, as crazy as that sounds. So Even now, 0.1 Bitcoin is $12,000. I don't think many families have $12,000 lying around to buy a Bitcoin, buy 0.1 of a Bitcoin, right? That just gives you an idea of where we're going. So yeah, it shows you how much things have changed. Ismail says, would you recommend a swing long on Bitcoin at major daily weekly support? Yes, I would. Yes, I would, Ismail, because in July, I think it's very bullish, and I think we're going to see a lot of good bounces when we do come to support. Eric, hey, CryptoData, as a daily RSI and stock RSI oversold, should we expect to move to 110 to 115K and the indicators to be oversold, or should we place long to this level? I would place longs at this level. So I'm not shorting too much. Again, a short could be a good hedge, obviously. But in a bull market, you're almost better off longing, limit longs, placing limit long versus shorting. Tom says, why are you eating while streaming, bro? So Tom, I haven't eaten today. That's why. I wasn't planning on eating, but I was just too hungry. I gotta eat. You know what they say. You know, you gotta eat. Gotta get that protein. Whenever you're using a lot of mental energy, use up the protein. Eswar says, damn, the roast by Watcher Guru on Peter Schiff for calling Bitcoin is never going to go above Bitcoin. Do you see that? Yeah, where Peter said it's not going to go above 100K ever. Yeah, that was pretty good. Max says, hey CD, hope you're doing well. Aura looks like it's having higher lows. Can you go through the TA and let me know if there's a bull sign? Let me know what you're thinking, Max, and I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Eswar, what happened to James Nguyen? He got liquidated and he shut down his account, and he was basically getting paid to promote other tokens and just taking money where he could. Eswar, could Pepe be the best meme of the year if ETH skyrockets? I think it's a good beta. Max, also on Sol, are we still targeting 178? Yeah, we're still targeting it, but like I said, 165 is a big resistance. That's why I had TP1 at 164.90, which did play out nicely. But yeah, I'm still expecting it at 178. Wyatt, I'm curious what your thesis is behind why Zeus has been falling with such a strong holder count on DEX. Are we just going through accumulation phase of the asset? Yeah, Wyatt, Zeus has been very, very bad in terms of underperforming. I think a lot of early whales are getting frustrated and they're just selling because there's obviously a lot of other tokens that have better opportunities right now, and so we're just seeing that transfer of wealth. Now, long term, hopefully it should do good, but again, that's why I always pays to diversify. Let's see. Eswar, I don't have any idea on the Velo BTC charts and aggregated funds. He says, like, I've learned that it could predict when we should be exiting markets. Yeah, so that is an idea of aggregated funds can be used to predict markets, but I'll have to look more into those, honestly. Steven says, wonder how soon corporations will offer crypto payments on their payroll. Probably will be a while. You know, I don't think it's going to be a while. I think it's going to be this year, Steven. I think this year corporations are going to start, especially when the U.S. announces its accumulation plan to purchase more Bitcoin and all these laws get passed. Like, crypto is becoming a lot more regulated now than it has been ever in history, especially this week with all those laws being passed and bills. And so I think that corporations are going to see crypto as a legitimate asset, even Fidelity with their IRAs and 401ks. They're already introducing it. And so I guess another person I know who's actually a broker and he trades his clients' funds, he is actually now allowed to buy the Bitcoin ETF. He's never been allowed to do that until now. And so a lot of things or a lot of restrictions that have been placed on these brokers on these different exchanges are now being lifted. And so, yeah, it's only this year, 100% funds and salaries are going to be paid in Bitcoin, 100%. Jessica, yes, this is recorded. Landon, when will they pass a law that will be like no tax on any crypto profits? Maybe this year. We'll have to see. Maybe this year. Let's see. A lot of good question, guys. You guys are active, and I love it. Make sure you guys are following me on X at the CryptoData. Again, I post a lot of good content for you guys, all free. Make sure that you guys are following, and you'll see a lot of these moves before they happen and stay ahead of the masses. So with that, we're going to continue the stream because there are a lot of questions, but I will get to them afterwards. So again, thank you guys for asking the questions, and thank you for being active. Please like the stream. There's 141 people watching, but there's only 35 likes. What are we doing about that, guys? What are we doing? If you could like the video, it means a lot. I'll continue to provide free content for you guys as long as we can get those likes up and continue to spread Gem Hunters to the masses. Also, if you guys haven't joined the Gem Hunters free Telegram, it's in the description. If you want to join the paid group for more calls, more live streams, etc., that's in the description as well. 1 Ethereum yearly. Remember, Ethereum's getting more expensive, so you better pay before Ethereum gets higher. So make sure you apply on the official Gem Hunters website in the description, as well as sign up for the BloFin link in the description as well. Now, let's go over some macro news for crypto. So, a few other big things. There's obviously been a lot of tension between Jerome Powell and Senator Cynthia Lummis and everyone else, right? Everyone's attacking Jerome Powell, saying he's unfit to run the Fed. He hasn't cut interest rates yet. Guys, when interest rates are cut, is going to create so much hype that it's going to be crazy, right? Like, it's going to create so much hype when the Fed officially cuts interest rates. I doubt it's going to be July unless Jerome Powell actually resigns. But September is what I'm expecting, and it's going to be so much hype that you guys aren't going to know what to think. Like, I know you guys are excited right now, and I know I'm excited right now. But when interest rates are cut, that's going to open up the floodgates, stop QT, Bitcoin dominance is officially going to top out, and altcoin season is going to start when interest rates are finally cut. It is literally that big. So keep an eye on that. Now, you have Trump also announcing tariffs on a lot of things. So he announced a 50% tariff on copper. You also have Trump announcing his tariffs on multiple countries. So there's actually here a summary of all the tariffs that were announced by the US. This was last week. The EU, South Africa, South Korea, Bangladesh, Philippines, Thailand, Mexico, Canada, Japan. Like, no one is getting a pass here. Everyone is getting tariffed out. Now, I will say people are becoming more muted to the tariffs in terms of reactions. Like, there isn't that stark reaction like we saw back in the day whenever Trump announced his tariffs. And that is a good sign, because whenever these trade deals are eventually struck and either A, these countries lower their tariffs on the US, or B, they come to an agreement, that's going to be its own bullish catalyst. And so, again, in a way, these tariffs are good because they create their own bullish catalyst, and this create more reason to propel the market higher, because at the end of the day, smart money is buying the dips that happen anytime these tariffs are announced, right? You have everyone else selling while smart money buys the dips, because they know that eventually a deal is going to be struck, and then that's going to create another bullish catalyst. And so very bullish on that front. Also, you have Trump and Powell continuing to have tensions, right? Trump is saying that he has the power to fire Jerome Powell if there's a reason. Again, I don't think Trump is going to fire Jerome Powell. I think he'd rather pressure him into resigning. That's the biggest thing. But there has been a lot of pressure on Jerome Powell, so will he cut interest rates on July 30th? Polymarket says there's a 5% chance. We'll see what happens. Again, it's going to be interesting to see if that does end up happening. Also, we do have a lot of shorts that have been liquidated, obviously. And then also we have Trump continuing to dog Jerome Powell. And then also we had Trump threatening severe tariffs on Russia if no deal is made within 50 days. And so keep an eye on that, guys. That could be interesting to see if we do end up having more tariffs on Russia. But Trump is a man of his word, right? If he draws a line in the sand and it's crossed, he's going to execute. We saw that with Israel and Iran, and now we're seeing that with tariffs. And so if Russia doesn't come to an agreement, then on day 51, Trump's going to slap tariffs on them. So hopefully it comes to an agreement, and then we'll see, again, another bullish catalyst on there. And then besides that, we do have a lot of news regarding, Epstein. It's not necessarily macro-wise per se. I mean, it is macro-wise, but it's more so, I don't know what you want to call this, a little different. But there has been a lot of reports of Ghislaine Maxwell is willing to testify before Congress, and a lot of things being said here. I know that the government came out, the U.S. government said there's no client list, and Epstein committed suicide. So at the end of the day, it's going to be one of those things where it's like, okay, is this really going to be the downfall of the US, the Trump administration? I think it's just going to be a bump in the road. I think that even Elon is calling for releasing of the files. And so this caused some turmoil in the market, really not much as far as affecting the market in general. I just mean turmoil as far as some FUD, right? But yeah, this whole Epstein thing did create a lot of turmoil. So I know that Trump is trying to take attention away from it, trying to pump the markets, which we have seen. But yeah, this was just another thing that was very interesting to say the least. And I think was one of the biggest hurdles, or I should say fumbles of Trump's administration. But hopefully we see something come out of this, at least positive. So we'll see if there's any release of the files or anything in the future. Going to be interesting to see that. But going towards TA for the S&P and the rest of the market. So the S&P is at 6,200, 6,270, mind you. Very, very bullish. It's almost breaking all-time highs. Good support in your 6,100 to 6,000. The RSI is still looking good. Still more room to the upside. So if you want to buy on the dip. I still expect higher. Gold is actually not doing too much. It's more so consolidating. So again, gold is a hedge against inflation, a hedge against uncertainty. I do think that we're going to see Bitcoin overtake gold as a de facto digital gold, quote unquote. And again, gold is good as a hedge, but I do think its time is coming as far as being that official hedge versus Bitcoin. So if you're going to buy gold, I'll look at 3,200, 3,100, and then 2,950 for good support. Resistance is going to be near that all-time high of 3,450. Now, oil futures between 60 to 70, nothing crazy there. And then you have the dollar DXY bounced perfectly, guys, off of this RSI weekly. Like if you guys were trading currencies, like FX currencies, guys, you would be in massive profit right now. Like literally, you just got to follow this weekly RSI and you'd be in massive profit. So I may need to start getting into these trading options and trading currencies. There'd be a lot of profit to be made there. Now, before we talk about the overall market, let's cover some more questions because you guys do have a lot of them. So let's see. Okay, Eswar. Let's see. Fear is what if, and faith is even if. Ooh, I like that. Good quote, Eswar. This quote made my mind to not sell my bags in April and rough period. I like that. I'll copy this one because this is a good quote. I like it, Eswar. Good stuff. Good stuff. So let me copy paste that real quick. Okay. Steven says, what are your thoughts on Bitcoin's price dropping after this bull run? Will it have less of a percent drop than prior years due to institutions holding? I don't think it'll have less of a drop, Steven. I think it'll still have the same amount of drop. Like if we get to, for example, 250K, a drop to 100K isn't out of the question. A drop to 80K isn't out of the question. So I don't think that'll change. It may change percentage-wise, but I think it's still going to be a big drop. Lunar, that was a good CryptoData, nice one. Tyler, thoughts on ByteFi as an alternative to BloFin for US users? I like BloFin. BloFin is very, very bullish. They spend most of their money on regulation and compliance, so very bullish from my opinion. Goal Revolve says, bro, do not eat during the live. You guys are making me crack up. Yeah, it's the Prima Bar, guys. The Prima Bar by Ancestral Protein. Let me actually link the protein bar I was eating. And we're getting a lot of good viewers here. 150 viewers, guys. Awesome, awesome views. It's please like the stream if you like it. But yeah, I'm very big into working out. If you guys haven't seen, I do have that long list of basically what my daily routine is. I'll go ahead and plug that real quick so you guys can see. I posted that. Let's see if I can. Where did I post that at? Let me see. If it's down, is it down here? Right here. Okay. This is what I posted. So I said, staying healthy while trading. And so I posted everything that I do. I posted my workouts, what I eat, etc. And yeah, so let me go ahead and paste this for you guys. And then I will show you. So I'm all about eating organic, right? I'm all about eating healthy because health is wealth, as they say. So these are, let me show you real quick the protein bars I eat. Again, I wasn't expecting this to be a kind of food talk here, but these are the protein bars I eat. You guys can check them out. It's Prima Protein, right? I actually posted that in the chat. They actually create organic, like they use beef tallow, so they don't use seed oils, so you can stay away from that. And their ingredients are organic. So if you just look, no industrial seed oils, factory farmed protein, 100% grass-fed protein, grass-fed beef tallow, organic whole foods, organic raw honey. Guys, like these guys are the best. Yes, they're expensive, but I've been eating them for probably the past month, actually, and it's been good, right? So yeah, look at Prima Ancestral, search them on ChatGPT, ask what their health score is, ask about supporting testosterone. It's very good on that front. Okay, anyway, back to the questions because we got a little off topic there. Let's see. Adurva says, will XRP hit $10 plus? It could, right? Especially if there's no capital gains tax on US-based cryptocurrencies. It definitely could. I wouldn't rule that out. But realistically, probably $5, $6. The Finance Compass. So you're not live right now? No, I am live right now. 100%. I am live. S4 says, can we all agree CD has a sick DP? I'm trying to think what DP is. Has a sick DP. S4, let me know what DP means. I'm drawing a blank right now. Let's see. Nikolai, to what level do you think we'll see a pullback on ETH and BTC? BTC potentially do 116K. ETH, maybe 2750, 2850. Murray's, hey CD, since the RSI stock RSI won't be getting oversold, is it enough if we have price bouncing off major support with the 5200 EMA below it in order to make a trade? Yeah, Mirza, it's possible, 100%. Like, I don't think we're going to get the daily, weekly oversold, at least for the next few weeks. And so you're better off buying whenever indicators have reset. Ivan says, what do you think about Sui? Actually pretty bullish on Sui. Sui had a crazy run recently. So I think it's at, 390. We'll talk about that as well when we go over the overview. But yeah, Sui's crazy. But I do think there's going to be a pullback, which we're already seeing. ETH is already close to closing under its $3,000 level. Let's see. And yeah, we did have Pump Fun actually launching today. Let me actually look at this real quick, guys. Okay, yeah, so we do have Pump Fun launching right now. Very interesting on that front. All right, let's see what else we have. Lunar says, sold a 1K of BTC, it's 250K. Very possible. Jessica, does the copy trader take the same trades you guys post in the free Telegram? No, Jessica. So the copy trader has its proprietary algorithm that Gem Owners partnered with, to where they trade more so off a grid-based trading system, DCAing, as well as trend-based. Like, they adjust the algo depending on what the market is doing. And so it saw the market was trending to the upside. It took a long, and it made a lot of profit for everyone on that long. So yeah, it's very, very good in trending markets. The creator, if you were sidelined, how would you go about leverage trades or any also spot positions? I would look for buying them at major support levels on the daily or weekly. Nikolai, what are your thoughts on XMR? I saw an official post on X saying it could go to 10K. That is quite the target. XMR, I would say, since it's a privacy coin, it's probably going to gain some more traction, especially as there's more regulations. So I would say tentatively bullish, but I'm not holding any currently. S4, the bull run is full of surprises, man. Like May 2026, it's okay. The retailers are always, anyways, are exit liquidity. It is crazy, right? Yeah. Yeah, like I said, May 2026, it's going to surprise a lot of people. Landon, so you think Bitcoin will hit 250K before September, before the big dump, or after the big dump in November, December? No, I think by the end of this year, Landon, 250K. Abhishek, I'm long on ETH with 3x leverage from 2470. Is it good to take profit or just wait some more time? So take some profit at 3050. Definitely take some profit around here, around 3000. And then I'll take more profit around 3300, and then take more profit around 35 to 3600. Mehedi says, hey, John Luke, what's your Bitcoin target during the bear market if price reaches 250K? So potentially 80K. Max Chong, hey, you mentioned you're a bit disappointed with Zeus. Are you still in? I'm still in it, Max, but it's horrible to see the performance. Obviously, I thought I'd do better than that. Tyler, thoughts on Dan Pena saying Bitcoin will go to zero if we found out who Satoshi is? I don't necessarily think so, because it shows conviction that Satoshi still hasn't sold, right? Like, the proof is in the pudding. Satoshi hasn't sold. Therefore, if we know who Satoshi is, he's probably going to be more like a, I don't want to say religious figure, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's probably going to be a lot of people praising him, to say the least. Eswar, imagine fading crypto now and glad I got in the space last year and have it go to analysts like CD. Hey, appreciate you, Eswar. Sala, how soon do you see the pullback happening? It could happen like right now, like over the next few days. But as far as a bigger pullback, August, September. Anonymous, Sui, bro. What's next? Yeah, Sui's crazy. Anonymous is definitely bullish on Sui. Deruva says, any words about followers here? Myrna, I have $100 and have to make 500 for July. Must do. Any play? How can I do that? Where to invest with leverage? Myrna, that is a interesting dilemma you have there. To make 500, you could leverage trade, right? But it's very, very risky. So just be careful how you're betting that. Don't be overly risky with that. To 5x your money in 2 weeks, that is a lot. So yeah, low leverage is probably the best way to do that. If you can buy at major support on the daily or weekly, like buy Ethereum at 2750, have 5x leverage or 10x leverage, that could be a good trade if you can get that. Oliver, what do you think about a long on hype on 47? I think it's going to be a better long around 42. If you can get hype near 42, that's a great support. And then even better, I think at 38. Jackadair says, hey, CryptoData, I hope you're doing well. What's your proportional allocation for this bull run? Majors, alts, memes. So majors, 40%, alts, 40%, meme coins, 20%. Yeah, Anonymous, so he's doing good. SR, what do you think of Tom Hugard saying, keep your orders on people's stop losses? Yeah, that's another good thing. Basically what he's saying is place your long orders where your stop loss would originally be. Because the market makers love to hunt stop losses and then reverse back to the upside afterwards. And so I think, yeah, Tom's very, very smart in saying that. I've heard that before as well. Joseph, thank you for everything you've done. I managed to save up quite a bit of money with your help. But today when I was transferring funds to another wallet, the entire address didn't copy correctly. And all of the money I had now is gone. My mistake, of course. I'm officially broke now. Can you please help me figure out how to make some money as quickly as possible? That's horrible, Joseph. I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, I'm glad I was able to help you. But yeah, it's unfortunate your money got lost. As far as other opportunities, definitely look at ecom. Like ecom is a great way. A lot of free businesses can be started for just advertising, using AI to create your own business. Like look for opportunities in the digital content space. You'll find a lot. Let's see, and look at Upwork and others. So Zero says, what strategy do you use to make your calls for gym hunters? And what are important things to look at besides technical analysis? Love the stream. Hey, appreciate you, Zero. Love it. I just use the strategy of Confluence with the RSI, stock RSI, and 250 EMA as far as, you know, finding the best trades when they're oversold or near major support levels in the daily or weekly. When they're all in Confluence, and I make the trade. Brian says, if you're reading this and don't like the stream, your wallets may get drained. I hope their wallets don't get drained. But yes, I would love everyone to like the stream. All right, guys, let's go over some other news items real quick. So, going over the crypto overview. Now we do have Bitcoin at 100, just below 120K, ETH just at 3K, XRP 294. I know Anonymous was talking about Zero or Sui. Sui's up 9.3%, top gainer today. So Sui's been doing very, very good. Algo, Uni, Bonk, Mantle, Fartcoin, all doing very good today. Pump Fund not doing the best. Again, it had its hype. Now I think we're going to see that rotation of capital afterwards. Looking at the DeFi Llama, so let's go ahead and refresh the page, see where total value locked is flowing on-chain or off-chain. Now, looking at Ethereum versus Solana, there's more money flowing on-chain to Ethereum versus Solana, but it's still pretty neck and neck. Something also is Base. So the Base chain has been gaining some traction as well. You know, it's even more so than, almost the same as Ethereum, actually. And so I would look at Base, guys. Base is definitely gaining some traction. So keep an eye on that. Also, you have the Fear and Greed Index at 70. So remember, anytime the Fear and Greed Index is 70, just like in February of 2024, you can see price can rise, right? Greed is where you want to be because it's just enough attention for people to invest, but not so much for people already taking profits and they're euphoric. And so very, very bullish here that we're in the greed area. Just like I've been in the greed in the past, like this is where the big runs happen, between 60 to 80 level. And then the blow off tops happen when we get in extreme greed. So keep an eye on that. Next, looking at the monthly returns for Bitcoin. So historically, July has been one of the most bullish months in crypto, minus February and October. And so looking at this, we see the returns comparable. I mean, 16.8%, 18%, 24%, 21%, 18%. If we extrapolate this out to Bitcoin's current price and how much it's gone up so far, that still tells us we could technically see 130K Bitcoin by the end of this month. And so 130K isn't out of the question, especially if we have comparable returns, such as up to 20% like we've seen in the past. Now, history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. And so I would say July, bullish month. August and September, you can see historically bearish. So look for red here. And then probably the first half of October is going to be bearish. And then after that, we're going to have a nice bull run into the end of Q4. And so keep an eye, guys. Going to be a lot of positive price momentum this month. And then the next 2 months, maybe a little chop after that. Looking at the ETF flows, crazy ETF flows last week. Over $1 billion 2 days in a row for Bitcoin, Thursday and Friday. What I can say is anytime we have this high of inflows, usually expect a local top. They do mark a local top, a little pullback, because you have institutions and their clients getting a little overzealous, getting a little overexcited, euphoric. And so just keep that in mind. That's why we saw a little local top after that. Granted, we still rose over the weekend, so not to say this is an end-all, be-all, measurement, but nonetheless, usually you should see some type of pullback when you have inflows this high. Now, Ethereum has actually had crazy amount of inflows relative to its norm. 211 million, 383 million, 204 million. Remember just 3 months ago, Ethereum had ETF flows of 10 to 20 million and there was nothing basically. Now, and then remember when we talked about, oh, when Ethereum starts, gets above 100 million of inflows, it's going to be crazy. Guys, now we're seeing multiple 9-figure inflows for Ethereum. This is when Ethereum starts to outperform Bitcoin, okay? This is actual institutional interest. People are buying ahead of the crypto stablecoin bill, the Genius Act getting passed, which is very bullish for Ethereum, ahead of interest rate cuts, ahead of the stimulus, ahead of everything that's going to be very bullish for altcoins. And so it's only a matter of time now, but it's interesting to see where we're at today. If we maintain these 9-figure inflows, we also have SharpLink Gaming, which has been purchasing tons and tons of Ethereum, over 10,000 Ethereum, I believe. And so they're extremely bullish on it. And so now it's only a matter of time before we start seeing Ethereum outperform Bitcoin, and then everything else follows suit. So guys, very, very bullish, and I'm looking forward to that outperformance. Now, let's go over the charts, and then let's go over upcoming events, and then I'll answer the rest of the questions, because I know people have been patient for me to continue the rest of this stream. Also, please like the stream if you haven't, guys. Again, really appreciate you liking it. Help spread it to the masses. Now, looking at Bitcoin here. So, I'm not sure if people saw my post on X, but I had a post on X, or again, if you're not following me at the CryptoData, definitely do so. I had a post and I said, Bitcoin just closed its weekly candle above an 8-year trend line resistance. No one is bullish enough. Raise your targets, then raise them again. And this is because, again, this trend line resistance has been acting as resistance for the past 8 years. If we go to the chart here, you can see since 2017, guys, when we started this trend line, I mean, this thing has acted as resistance 8 times in a row. And we finally closed above it. So many people were trying to short around this trend line resistance. I guarantee you, because shorts got liquidated like crazy. Over, I believe there was one short, $98 million short that got liquidated. And so a lot of people got wrecked. That's why you saw this massive short squeeze. In my opinion, it is very possible we could come back to retest this as support around 115.3K, which if retested as support and bounce, that would be so bullish. And again, this is one of the main reasons why I raised my target. Whenever we closed decisively, it's not like we closed the weekly above, let's say 114K, like we closed it here, 115K. Guys, we closed the weekly at 119K. Like, I don't know if you know how bullish that is. And if you look at the indicators, we're seeing the RSI cross above this trend line. We're seeing it finally get into overbought, the stock RSI getting overbought. So yes, we could turn down here, right? Obviously, we'll have a little pullback. But if you look at the past, whenever RSI has been overbought, Bitcoin has just continued higher. Bitcoin has continued higher, right? Bitcoin has continued higher. Anytime the RSI has gotten overbought, guys. Like, so, and that even coincides with the stock RSI getting overbought. So now you have the stock RSI getting overbought, RSI getting overbought. This is reminiscent of March 2024, December of 2023, December of 2024, guys. Like, this is all the same metrics here. Like, literally, if you look, I mean, it's literally the same metrics as what's happened in the past. Is when you have, I mean, let me see here. Boom, boom. I mean, are you seeing what I'm seeing right now of what's happening with price, right? Like, guys, are you seeing exactly what's happening with price every time these are overbought? Because in a bull market, indicators can be overbought much longer than they can be in a chop or bearish market. So keep that in mind. That's why my target is $240,000 to $250,000. I believe we're going much higher. Now, let's go ahead and, because I know people were asking about Ton when Kincaid made his Ton long call. So Ton still looks good here. I believe we could still see a run to 318. That'd be my first take profit, and then around 334 for my second. Now, if you're looking to buy Ton, I mean, 294 is a good level. And then also if you can get it near 279, that is also a good level to buy it. But yeah, that's my analysis on Ton. The indicators, again, still have room to run to the upside, so nothing too crazy there. Now, let's talk about Ethereum real quick. So same thing here, guys, is if you were following me on X, you would have seen my post about Ethereum and closing its weekly candle above this 50 EMA for the first time in 8 months, okay? I posted about that. If you even see here, I posted, where was it at? Here we go. I posted here. ETH closed above its weekly 50 EMA for the first time in 8 months. I posted this on July 9th. And I mean, even here, right? I posted it here on July 6th. I said it closed for the first time in 8 months. Look at this, guys. 25.85. That was the price. That was the price here. If you would have been watching, you would have seen what ETH has done after that. And now we look at ETH's price and look what happened. Literally, guys, you just have to look at the data. The data is telling you what's going to happen, but people are too emotionally invested. They trade off their emotions. They FOMO in at the top. They sell at the bottom. Guys, you just look at the data, and that's why my name is CryptoData. And that's why I teach you guys all this information for free, because I want you guys to learn what I've learned over the past 8 years. Because if you can put in the time and effort to actually listen to these streams, to follow the calls in Gym Hunters, to actually study, as memeable as that is, study is what everyone needs to do. Put in the time and effort, otherwise you're not going to get the results you want. Input equals output. If you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. Like, all of these are true. And so put in the hard work. Everyone knows it's hard work. Everyone knows what they have to do, but they don't want to do it. They want to watch their YouTube videos instead. They want to watch their Netflix, their Amazon, their TikToks, instead of actually putting in the work and making a lot of money like they know they can. Again, that's the reason people get jealous, because when they see people, they know in their heart of hearts that they aren't trying as hard as they should be. Otherwise, they'd be successful like everyone else. It's the ugly truth, but it's real, guys. Like, start locking in right now or regret for the rest of your life not taking advantage of this generational opportunity that is in front of you. That's what I'll say for that. Now, let's go over Solana as well, since we are still in our Solana long. So I'll tell you guys what I think about that. I am still bullish on Solana, but like I said, 165, it is acting as some big resistance here. Like, it also coincides with the 200 EMA. You can say 200 EMA is at 159. So this is good support, guys. Like, if you guys want to long Solana, longing at this 200 EMA at 159 is not a bad level to long. 159 to 160. Good support there. Also, we have major support at 153, which coincided with the 50 EMA as well. That's why I have our stop loss at 151. Now, here's the thing, too. If you guys took profit on the so long at 165, you could move your stop loss up to break even, which at the time, I believe was around, what, 156 to 157, where our entry was. So you could very well place your stop loss around 157, and it would be below this 200 EMA. That's actually not a bad strategy. If you want to secure your profits, and because I'm assuming if we close below this, we're going a lot lower. So yeah, that'd be a good strategy too, guys, if you're asking if you should raise your stop loss or not. But yeah, still expecting around 172 for the take profit, and then 178 to front run these resistance levels a little bit. But we're gonna need to see some type of hype. I mean, the fact that Pump Fund already launched, it's looking like it could be, you know, a little iffy on there. We'll have to see what happens with that. But yeah, we could start to see some rotation from Solana to Ethereum and other networks. So keep an eye on that. Then also, I was talking about the CME gap for Bitcoin. So if you look at the 1 hour, actually, I did post, I actually did on a different chart, I did post the CME gap. Let me see which one I posted. Maybe it was this one here. Yeah. So the hourly here. So if you look at this, we do have a CME gap at 118.6K. This could be our first level that we come to, because it also coincides with the 50 EMA as well. Now, below that, we also have a CME gap at 114.3K. So remember, if these CME gaps usually fill within a week and a half. If they don't fill, then it takes a couple months, and we're going a lot higher. And so this lower one at 114.5K, I don't think it'll get filled. I think what will happen is we'll see some type of, let me actually draw. So some type of like boom, boom, and then boom, right? Something like this. That could be very possible, where like we go down to 118.5, tag this CME gap, make people think we're going lower, reverse higher, go a little bit lower to 116, not quite get the CME gap, front run the longs, and then boom, go up from there, right? This is a possibility. Now, is this going to happen? Hard to say. I mean, this would happen during crypto week, which would be unexpected, right? So, but at the end of the day, because this is the hourly chart here, so this, you know, this would happen over 4 days. But I could see this happening as well. So I'll leave this on here so we can come back to it and see if it played out. Now, upcoming events. Token 2049. Let me know if any of you guys are going to be going to this. Leave a fire emoji if any of you guys are going to be going, and I'll look to meet you guys. But yeah, I'll be here. It's going to be a lot of side events I'll be at, so definitely would love to meet you guys in Singapore. Going to be a great time. Also, we have the FOMC meeting July 30th, so keep this in mind. There is a lot of people waiting for an interest rate cut. I do not think an interest rate cut will happen. Remember, still 5% on Poly Market, but I do think an interest rate cut will happen in September 17th. That will be a nice bullish catalyst if it does happen, right? So that's what I'm looking for. But if we do get an interest rate cut on the 30th, guys, crazy, crazy bullish reactions afterwards, if so. But not really expecting that. So with that, let's go ahead and look at the questions and see what we have from there. Again, guys, if you're not following me, definitely do so. Try to give you guys the best content I can. Let's see. Nick says, what's your take on H-bar? I really have no opinion on it. Again, it's an American-based cryptocurrency company, so I think long-term it'll still be bullish. Brian, Jerome lied to Congress about renovations to the Fed building. Interesting. That could cause some type of reasoning as well for a firing. As far, what do you think of Say blockchain? Could it be the next Sui or Soul Killer? You know, I think Say, not as bullish on Say. I'm more bullish on Sui, to be honest. Sui said, or Steven said, honestly, this is my first time in a bull run. I have a hard time deciding what to long. Steven, I get it, right? What I would do if I were you is just go on CoinGecko, go to the 24-hour gainers, and then at that point, look at what the top gainers are, and then look to long these on a pullback, right? Or you could even say, during a pullback, what are the top gainers, and then look to long those at major support levels on the daily or weekly, because those are most likely going to outperform whenever we have the bounce. So that's why I say that'll tell you where to long. Is just look at the top movers, because where attention goes, money flows, as Luke always says. So that's the biggest thing I would say, is just look for the top movers and look for the strong performers versus Bitcoin. And that can be your kind of, you know, give you an idea of where to long per se. All right, let's see what else we got here. So Max says, I think Aura looks good from the charts. Higher lows, teams are working quite hard, and it sort of reminds me of SPX cycle, hence I'm bullish, but keen to understand what you think given your expertise. Aura, yeah, I can check out Aura real quick. Give me a second. All right, let's see Aura. All right, so it looks like I went over this before. Aura looks good. Aura looks good, 100%. Like if I'm just looking at the chart right now, I'm seeing higher lows. I'm seeing a nice little trend line support here. As long as it maintains this trend line support on the daily, yeah, I don't see why it can't go much higher. I mean, it's close to breaking above this resistance level here. I would say if we can move this resistance up a little bit, the big level to close above at 140 million. If we can close above that, then the next target's gonna be air. It's about 194 million. So yeah, Aura looks good, holding good support. As long as it maintains this trend line, I'd be very bullish on it, especially since the RSI still has room to go. So yeah, not a bad chart there. Let's see. Let's see some other questions real quick. Shakir says, hey CD, what's the most number of losses in a row in GH Premium? Most, heck, I mean, maybe 2 way back in the day, but now I would say just 1. We've gotten pretty good at timing these runs and timing these longs and shorts. The Hunt, Powell's era is over. He has become irrelevant. You know, I mean, I don't disagree with you. I do think that a lot of people are fed up with him and want him to cut interest rates, and it's been a while. But again, at the same time, he's reacting strictly on data. And if there's no reason to cut the rates, then he's going to maintain the status quo, which no one likes to hear, even including myself. So we'll have to see if there's any type of nuance or gray line that he can cross that's going to allow that. And it's already 10 minutes past the stream, but I'll keep going for you guys to answer the rest of the questions before we end it. Mattis says, hello, if I have Bitcoin short with average 112.5K and lick price at 130K, you recommend I have to wait or close it? I see a CME gap near 114.5. Mattis, man. That's, man, you took that short at 112. I'm surprised you haven't closed it yet. That's why it's imperative to have a stop loss, Mattis. That would be my first lesson to you, is have a stop loss. I don't think we're going to get to 114K. Maybe I would close some at 118 or 116K. That's the lowest I would look for. But yeah, have a stop loss, guys. Don't be riding these things until Valhalla, until you get liquidated. Like, have a stop loss. Unless you're willing to lose that money that you have in fully, then that's a different story. Mirza, I never really traded leverage before, and I'm wondering, how do we DCA into leverage positions on BloFin? Do I open a new position in every time? Adding margin seems like nothing changes as far as P&L goes. You just set limit orders, Mirza. So set multiple limit orders, and that'll help you like at certain levels, and that'll DCA for you. But yeah, look at the BloFin video I have. I uploaded it on the Gym Hunters free group. Also in the premium, we have the tutorial video, and it's like a 20-minute video on BloFin and how to use limit orders, etc. Zero, do you think it's a good idea to risk 10 to 20% per trade called in Gym Hunters to gain the capital to join the premium? Yeah, Zero, I think it's a good idea because our calls are fairly accurate. Myself and Kincaid, we're very good at leverage trading. I mean, you know, knock on wood, not to toot our own horn or anything, but we have gotten fairly good at it and looking at what coins to long. So I do think that that'd be a good idea for you. Tom says, do you think alt season is 100% coming? Not the alt season that people expect. I think a lot of coins are going to pump, but not every coin. Goal Revolve, what are the predictions of the top 100 in crypto? That's a big question. I'm not going to go over all of them, but I do still think, yeah, I'm still bullish on Ethereum, probably Sui, Solana, Hype. Hype's one of the most bullish tokens in my opinion. Tyler, what do you think of Dan Pena saying Bitcoin will go to zero if we found out who Satoshi is? Nope, I don't think so. I think it will still be bullish because, again, they haven't sold. Niraj, for the next 3 months, what are the 3 to 5 cryptos you think are performing the best and why? Probably Hype, Ethereum, and Hype, Ethereum, and Hyperliquid, Ethereum, and what other token? I don't know if Pengu's going to outperform. It's been doing good. I don't know if it's going to be the main kid, though. And either Fartcoin or SPX. So, yeah, Fartcoin, SPX, Ethereum, Hype. Those are probably one of the ones I would choose. Abhishek says, when is your next call on Bitcoin? We're going to have to see, right? I never plan the calls in advance. It's always based off of technicals. Steven, damn, you're huge, bro. Appreciate it, Steven. Hey, I just like to maintain my health. I work out 5 days a week, and health is wealth, guys. Like, even if you guys only work out a few days a week, just do something. Walk on the treadmill, start slow. Like, start your diet slow. Don't just cut everything out cold turkey. If you're drinking sodas every day, like, cut it to once every other day. And then cut it to only on the weekends. And if you're eating fast food every day, again, cut it to maybe fast food only on the weekends or every other day. Like, slowly incorporate those changes so you give your body time to adjust, but then it'll make it easier to control your cravings. Because remember, guys, when you have control over your mind, nothing else can control you. So remember that you are in control of your destiny, and you decide how successful or unsuccessful you will become. Nikolai says, you got to do a face reveal. Yeah, guys, it's maybe in the future, right? Maybe in the future, but we shall see. So, holy, there's a lot of questions. All right, guys, let's go to answer these real quick since we are getting over time right now, and I don't want to be streaming till for the next hour. So let me go ahead and real quick do this. Appreciate it. Back gain's insane. Appreciate that. Zico, why doesn't BTC ETH hit all-time high? What does that mean? I think it's just a delay. Let's eventually see a switch over. DP is more like your profile picture. Oh, okay, gotcha, Jesse. Thanks for the heads up. What's going on, boy? That boy Adrian, good to see you here. Curly, big respect for you, my guy. You're giving up so much sauce for free. Hey, I try to do what I can, guys. Most people gatekeep this. I give it for free. Built different, right? Mirza, can we get a TA on Doge? Can't do any TAs right now, guys, just because we have so many questions, and I don't want to make this another 2 hours. Trolls, thoughts on Ton for their May 2025? I'm neutral on Ton. Eswar, oh, they use beef tallow. Yeah, sorry, man, I can't eat that. Like, consuming anything related to cow's meat is against our religion since I practice Hindu. Ah, good to know, Eswar. Okay, good. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because cow is sacred in Hinduism. Okay. Unfortunate that you can't eat the beef tallow then. But yeah, I would look for anything that what's the right question? That is void of any seed oils. Like, you don't want to eat seed oils, so just make sure you're staying against that. Eric, Summit's the mascot for AVAX. They wanted to make the mascot of AVAX, yeah. Nikolai, Doge is breaking out of a nice daily weekly. Nice. I may look at Doge then versus the others. Would a good XRP long be 270? Yeah, I think good XRP long is around 270. That may not be too bad. But I'd look at 250. It's a big level too. Claudio, 2 consecutive inflows over 1,000 in BTC ETH. Usually would mark a local top, but it hasn't. Can this now be considered strength for the continuation? I think, Claudio, it may be a sign of continuation for sure. Landon, if ETH closes above 3K on the daily, then it would see a further pump, possibly, but there is resistance near 30.50, so just keep that in mind. Trolls, forgot to add my comment in regards to Ton. Add to Ton comment, especially considering Grok chatbot integration on XAI deal to be launching during the summer. Yeah, if they launch that deal, it could be bullish. Business World, does Gem Hunters have signals about meme coins? Yes, they do. 100% they do, and they're very good, actually. OnKit, there's minimum limit of 500 USDT in the copy trading, but I saw people with 10 to 15. How is that possible? I think they just messed up on their back end of controlling the limits, so I think it should be fixed now. But let me know if it's not still. Claudio, do you believe in this current stage of crypto that TA no longer matters, despite basically every indicator pointing for a pullback? No, I think TA is still very much in track, because remember, we can still stay overbought in a bull run. We can continue higher. Remember when I posted the RSI and stock RSI on Bitcoin has been overbought for multiple days in a row and it still went higher? So remember, guys, Bitcoin, remember this, Bitcoin can remain overbought territory for extended periods of time and run. It's happened multiple times in the past, so this is nothing different. So 100% we can still continue to run much, much higher, which I do think we will. Any updates on the Sol long and GH? I talked about Sol earlier. I'm still in it. But you could move your stop loss up to 157 if you want to be safe. Lock in the profits. Business. Also, what's your observation and correlation of Bitcoin and meme coins? Usually when Bitcoin outperforms, meme coins underperform. RAM. Turbo's a great volume or educated price projection. No thoughts on Turbo. To leverage longs on BloFin, or are you able to hold a strong position through the entire market? No. Levered longs don't time out, but you are charged funding fees. So just watch out for those. Gold, do you think the gradual introduction to the digital euro starting in October will have an impact on the market? I don't think it'll have an impact necessarily, no. Nikolai, you skipped some questions. Yeah, I was trying to go over them as quick as I can. OnKit, when do you think this bull cycle will end and the bears come in like 4-year halving cycle? Do you believe thesis still holds? I believe it'll end May 2026. Do you think about longing Sol at 160? Not a bad spot because it's at the daily 200 EMA. There's a post on XMR and Gem Hunters. Are you not, as you are not holding it, it wasn't you? No, that wasn't me. Bruno, what is a good token to buy right now? Spot? That's a good question. You could buy ETH at 28.50, Sol at 160, or Hype around 42. Men of Valor, what do you think KTA could be at price-wise? I've seen predictions for $5. I think realistically $2 to $3. Jagger, I have some good amount of cash coming in the next 2 to 4 weeks. Would you recommend DCing in key levels or just lump sum investing to stay a positive momentum? DCing at key levels, I would say, Jagar, 100%. At key support levels on the daily and weekly. As for all crypto bros, be talking about cribs and whips in 2026, exactly. Mahedi, if Bitcoin reaches 80K during the bear market, I'm putting all in, bro. Hey, same. Claudio, when do you think alt season will start? Mini alt season this month, real alt season middle of October. Fortune Gaming, please analyze Dotchain. Can't do any TA right now. Sorry about that. OnKid, how do you incorporate these data points in your trading system you use yourself? I just use it for confluence. If there's a lot of confluence for the bullish or bearish, then I trade accordingly. Let's see. Yeah, 50K by the end of this year. Or by May, but I think by the end of this year. Let's see. Yep, talked about my Sol trade already. Allocation for my take profit levels, 50% at TP1 and then 25% at TP2 and 3. Exploit says an Elliott Wave trader says we're going all the way down to 60K by November. What do you think? He pretty much predicted that price will come to 120 to 130K by July. I highly doubt it. Highly doubt that by November. It's possible, yes, but no. I think the lowest we'd go would be 110K. Steven, do you follow Luke Belmar's calls in GH? Yeah, I follow some of them for sure. I mean, he's good. He has good insight into the market, right? So it'd behoove you to at least follow them because he has been making a lot of good calls, just like myself and Kincaid. Bayo edits ACD just tuned in. Thanks for the stream. Did you already cover Bitcoin breaking the 1 week trend line and ETH breaking 1 week resistance? I'll go back and watch recording. Yes, I did, Bayo. Bayo says also, man, please unmute it. Yeah, I'll unmute you. Guys, TP levels on Zeus. Zeus didn't pump much after being listed on KuCoin Exchange. So it had its little pump, but then not much after, which is unfortunate. The team is still working though, but yeah, we'll see what it can do. But I'm still holding it, but it's gonna take some work, unfortunately. Claudia, what blue chip alts do you think will do well this season? I'm looking at Algo, Cpool, Onyx, Kava. So no thoughts on those. I mean, I think Cpool may do good. Algo may do good. No thoughts on the other two. Hyperliquid is probably one of the most bullish ones, and Ethereum. Any upcoming events in the States, Brian? I need to look, actually. I'm not too privy on those. Mirza, what kind of deck screener settings do you use? Looking for new tokens? I don't do the settings for deck screener myself. What if Luke's XMR trade? I already talked about XMR. 360 could be a good space to take profits. Lunar's Dream, what meme coins you think are good? I think Summit on AVAX could have some good potential. I posted about that actually yesterday on my X. And then Moon Doge is another one I'm bullish on. Actually, let me go over to Moon Doge real quick, since we're talking about meme coins. So Moon Doge is one I'm looking at. Again, right now it's 6.8 mil because the Sol Eco is kind of having a little pullback here. But yeah, Moon Doge, I would look at potential level here, 6.8. And then maybe even Mumu. This is the bull. I believe it's on Ethereum. This may be a good one as well on this pullback. We may see this. I know there's some big teams behind both of these, but I think Moon Doge is probably the more bullish one if I had to choose. But yeah, Mumu maybe have something here, but we'll have to see what happens with that. All right. Let's see. I'm drinking Mountain Valley spring water in the glass bottle. I think it's still good to put money in for long-term bags if you put them in at major support levels on daily and weekly. I'm bullish on SPX and Pepe. Oliver, no, I haven't launched it yet. Probably in another week or so. Isaac, did you see alt rug pull? Yeah, I did. That's why you guys always got to be careful of investing in these altcoins. They can rug in a minute. Best way to learn is just following reputable accounts on X and on YouTube, like myself, like Luke, like Gym Hunters. Those will find the best info. So that's where you'll find the best stuff. Let's see. No, eat scalp on the 1 hour for me. I'm just focused on daily, weekly. Breath, are there any good plays right now? Just major support levels, like I was mentioning earlier. ETH 2850, Sol 160, Hype 42. Those are probably some decent plays. I think if Bitcoin goes down, we'll see everything else go down. But eventually they will pump. You missed Tau. I'm still somewhat bullish on Tau for AI. And then I'm not sure why Virtual is stalling. I know AI coins on base are still bullish, though. I think long-term is still bullish. Looks like there's resistance at 168 on Sol. Should we exit or keep long? I'm still keeping my Sol long, but again, guys, anything could happen if Bitcoin declines, right? We still hit our first take profit, which is 58%, which is good. Monero, where do you think we'll go? I think 360 and 420 are resistance levels. No problem, Bigfoot. Let's see. I do have a technical analysis basics on the Gym Hunters YouTube channel in the live. If you search a third video, if you go to the live tab on the Gym Hunters YouTube channel, the third video will be my technical analysis basics video where you can learn TA. Probably this week, Shakir. The key events that lead to a meme coin season, I think meme coin season is pretty much dead after the next week or two. But usually it's just a lot of retail coming into the market and a lot of FOMO. Yep, Anonymous, Sui's doing great. No problem, Exploit. When will altcoin season start? Mini alt season this month, and then major alt season middle of October. What's going on, Hyper? Hey, no problem, Claudio. I was trying to answer as many questions as I can. Best risk management strategies for meme coins. Take your initials out on a 2x. What about ETH? 4 to 5K conservative. Resistance on ETH is around 3,000 and 3,500. Meme coins, AI projects with 10x potential. I'll have to look at them. Still hard to say right now. Summit, I think Summit could be pretty good for 10x potential on AVAX if they can actually get something good behind it. And maybe even Moon Doge if they can pump that. Onkit, how are you so jolly all the time, bro? I like the energy. Keep it up. I appreciate it. Health is wealth, Onkit. So when you stay healthy, when you work out, when you keep a positive attitude and you meditate and you pray and you stay close with religion, it's going to help you battle any type of negativity that comes your way. John, thanks so much, Jay. I was always learned a lot from GH live streams. I'm making calls of my own. So far, profitable. Thank you always for spreading wisdom. Awesome, John. So happy. I love you guys so much. You guys are awesome. Rox, do you think ETH is going to hit 10K this year? It's likely, yeah. I think 8 to 10K is a possibility. Tuktoshi, when would you expect to pull back after this rally? I would say in August, September. Shakir, can you share your strategy? What confidence you look for? I look for RSI, stock RSI being oversold, and I look at it major support on the daily or weekly time frame, and then potentially also being near its daily 200 EMA or 50 EMA on the daily. So I don't look for all of those to be in confluence, but usually like the RSI oversold or the stock RSI oversold while it's at major support on the daily or weekly is usually enough for me. Let's see. Business says trend relation, by the way, BTC and altcoins. Thank you, bro. So usually they're pretty correlated. So Bitcoin goes up, altcoin goes up, and vice versa. Dot coin gonna end. No, I don't like dot. Have you seen? Yeah, Pengu was crazy. There's big resistance near that 003 level. So I just watched that for resistance. If it closes above that, it could be pretty bullish. But yeah, it did reach some resistance near like 0032, 0031. So look for a daily close above that. But with that, guys, there is a lot going on. How long do pullbacks like the current one last during a trending market like right now? Usually a few days. So not too long, right? Usually just a few days. Probably like 5 days max. Real quick, I know I said I wouldn't go over any TA. Let me go over Solana real quick because, or not Solana, but Doge, because a couple people asked about that just real quick. Yeah, as far as Doge is concerned, guys, there's still resistance near this 20 cent level. It needs to break above this with the 200 EMA. Look for a close above, I would say 20.5 cents to get very bullish. And then at that point, you can start targeting 21 cents and then 25 cents afterwards. So that's the biggest thing for Doge, I would say. Support-wise for Doge, I would say there's light support, very light support near 19 cents, and then major support near 18.2 cents. That's where I would look at for Doge. But again, guys, if you guys haven't followed me on X, definitely do so. Again, I've tried to post the best content I can at the CryptoData, give you guys the best content, free content, as well as if you're not following Gem Hunters on the free Telegram, join it in the description. Join the paid group for 1 Ethereum for a yearly subscription. It is going up higher, so make sure you join. Also, BloFin referral link. Sign up for BloFin, best non-KYC exchange, in the description as well. And again, guys, love you guys so much. Have a great Monday. Have a great rest of the week. Hopefully, we see some good bullish price action. Remember, if we do have a pullback, look to bet at major support levels on the daily and weekly, as I am still expecting one. And then before continuing higher, I am still bullish for all of July, looking for a major pullback in August and September. So thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of the day. Remember, health is wealth, and I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.